Summer-like weather outside once again today. We have blue sky, sunny conditions. It's like rinse and repeat. We're a broken record talking about the nice weather that we have outside. You can see here in Perrysburg, not a cloud to be seen, and I anticipate it to be pretty busy with folks getting out and about. With our readings already at the midpoint of the day into the mid-70s, you are going to find a lot of us are into those 70s along the East Coast, even further north. Our friends in Traverse City and Toronto, they are at 75, a little bit cooler off towards our south. That's because a high pressure system is just sitting off towards the eastern coast, but to our south. So they had a little bit of a cooler morning, and that's why their temperatures are bumping up just a little bit slower, but we are taking the heat while we have it because we all know that these conditions will not last all that long. We have 80s still though here for the work and school week, and even into the weekend we should just get into that 80-degree mark, but behind it Sunday's kind of that transition day, so you'll find that we work our way back into the 60s and then a big tumble as far as the highs on Monday. 49 is what we're going to be looking at. We do rebound a little bit into the 50s early next week, but it's really towards the later half, about a week from now, that we'll finally be able to see the rebound from the cold front though that we have on Sunday. So it'll take a little bit of a time frame to get those conditions right back up, those highs. But it's just not going to be warm enough to get us into those 80s again. So it'll be a little more spring-like. If you've maybe turned the air on and say, hey, I don't want to be paying the air conditioning bill this early in the season, don't worry, you'll be able to open those windows back up here by next week. Now, as far as the daily almanac, I always think that this is fun to look at simply because we're going to be looking at, well, numbers that are nowhere close to averages. Averages for the high around 61, 39 for the low. And as far as the records, when we're talking about these conditions, we're getting close, but you are going to find that the record is set into the upper 80s for today. So we have a little bit of work to get there, but you will find that we're at least standing a chance. We're in the realm of the 80s to get there. And as far as the cold, we just don't have that in the forecast. If you're really looking to soak up the sun, we do have that lasting until 8:13. That's going to be your sunset for tonight. And we will continue to keep an eye, though, on these temperatures as we go, because as we talk about the heat, I found this a very interesting kind of tidbit here. So a lot of times we talk about those records and when we put new ink in the books. So the last time we recorded a brand new record high wasn't that long ago. It was February 9th of this year. And a lot of times we see those highs. Those have been getting broken, adding the new record in. Lows, on the other hand, that's a little bit different. November 13th of 2019. We're talking a couple of years ago that we have finally saw that record low temperature be broken, meaning we'd have to have some pretty cold air to get that record low to break. So far in that time period, since November 13th of 2019, we have had 17 of our record highs be broken. So we've gone that many times seeing new heat coming in rather than cold air. So just another sign that we are seeing a little more warming, of course, in our climate as far as those averages, but also we're really noticing that our lows, though the heat isn't the big climb, it's really the low temperatures that are warming a lot more and then those highs, thus causing it hard to break those records. So just some interesting facts to look at. Even when we're looking at data for this year alone, it's been one of the warmest starts for us. The warmest, though, was back in 1880, so that was a minute ago, but we were at averaging 40 degrees at this point in the season. So far this year, we are at 39. So looking at 80s for this week, that could nudge us up to be tying, if not maybe a touch above, something to watch here. Now, another interesting thing to point out is 2012. We're tying with that as far as that heat to start out the year. And, well, 2012 was a very dry summer. So we will be watching the conditions. Of course, El Nino also going to be playing a role. Where we should be, though, the average is about 31 for where our temperature should be as far as the average to start out the year. So you can see we are well above that for this year. Now, with the heat, that will come to an end, and you can watch that on the daily tab with the WTOL 11 weather app. You can also, though, monitor the weekend rainfall that we have. That's going to be on its way, though no rain in sight to go with these 80s, so that part of the forecast is very nice. But as we have to get back to those spring showers, you're going to want to use the WTOL 11 weather app. So even though it's the nice days, we still have extra weather content for you there. Of course, give that a download, set it up to your location, and then you'll have the latest forecast right at your fingertips. Now, the hour-by-hour conditions, I want to jump forward in time to the weekend because that's when we've been talking about some of those rain chances. And you will see that we'll still run a few showers throughout the day on Saturday, but the majority of our rain chances will be later in the day with a few thunder showers to be possible. As we go through the day on Sunday, best rain chances are going to be out ahead of a cold front that we're anticipating to be here for the later half of the day. So that is when we're going to be eyeing some rainfall is for your weekend plans. Keep that in mind if you're going to maybe try to go camping, even though it's been warm, or just even do some of those warmer weather activities. We will be working with then wet weather, and then behind it, if it's a cold front, we know that we have cold air that will be in with that as well. So that's why we're going to be finding 60s on Sunday and then 40s by Monday. That front really going to be packing a punch for us. Even looking at the weekend as a whole, I was talking about 80s on Saturday, and then those thunder showers. We'll run that risk into the second half of the day. Non-severe weather, though, expected in those rumbles of thunder. You'll find on Sunday more rain in the forecast, but it'll also be breezy as that system tries to swing on by. That is bringing the cold front. We'll have 66 then, and then, like I said, heads up, Monday going to be a chilly one, a big adjustment from the 80s that we've had this week. A lot of folks out riding their bikes, going for a run, golfing. I know you're going to want to soak it up while you can because here we go with the rain chances over the weekend. Those temperatures start to fall, and then we have 50s as we get into next week. A few dry days, but also some April showers are still here in the forecast. You'll find 60s, though, as we head into late next week, and that'll feel a little more April-like to get us into the later half of the month. That's a little more seasonal for this time of year. Of course, we also want to keep some warmer temperatures in because we are going to be, well, noticing that those leaves are finally starting to bud across the area. So, of course, as far as those allergies, you can also get updates on those with the WTOL 11 weather app, along with checking radar for the weekend rain.